stampers, welcome to fancyforstampin.com. I'm Josie Cauler. Sorry I haven't been around for a while. I've been really busy, but hopefully with this video tutorial today I'll make up for my absence. Today we're going to make this Valentine pop-up card. It's really cute, I think. I came up with the pop-up mechanism all on my own. I have myself a ream of scrap cardstock, and sometimes I just come into my stamp room and play around. But before I came up with the Valentine card, I originally created a birthday card, pop-up birthday card, using the painted poppies and the honeybee stamp set that are in the Current Occasions catalog. But since it's taken me so long to get this tutorial together, I decided to convert this pop-up card to a Valentine card, and we are going to use two stamp sets to create this. We're going to use the new Heartfelt stamp set that's in the Current Occasion catalog and the coordinating punches, and last year's Meant to Be stamp set that's in the Current annual catalog, along with the Be Mind stitched framelits dies to create this card. Okay, so it's really simple thing. I'll run through my list of cardstock supplies that you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 Whisper White cardstock for the outer card base. For the inner card base, you will need a piece of 8 by 5.25 Whisper White cardstock, and they're both scored in the middle. This one is scored at the 4-inch mark, and this is scored at the 4.25-inch mark because it's the bigger piece of cardstock. Then I have some of the new designer series paper. It is called, let me see what it is called, From My Heart Specialty Designer Series paper, and I chose these two patterns because I thought they went well together, and they measure 1.5 inches by 4.25. You need two pieces of that. I got a piece of real red double stitch ribbon. It's 8 inches in length, and then two more pieces of Whisper White cardstock. They both measure 1/4 inch by 4 3/4. And what you're going to need to do with these two strips of cardstock is score them at the 1/2 inch, 1 5/8 inch, and 4 1/4 inch marks, okay, on your score tool. And I haven't done that, but I will do that now. Okay, and I call these my goal posts. I'll include a link to a written tutorial for this as well. So we're going to score this at a 1/2 inch, 1 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, and 4 1/4. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. 1/2, 1 5/8, and 4 1/4. And I'll get rid of my scoreboard, and I'll just fold these real quick on the score lines. Okay, so when they're folded, it'll look like this. Okay, and this one. Okay, and these are really little pieces. Wouldn't be hard to lose them, so we'll set those off in a safe place. Okay, next thing I need is my paper trimmer and the inner card base. That's the piece that measures 8 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, we're going to have to make little slits in this card base so that we could insert the goal posts. So what we need to do, let me extend this arm, is set one long edge of the card base up at the top of the paper trimmer and put this left edge So this is at the 1/8 inch mark, this left edge. And we're going to move the cutter blade to the 1-inch mark on the cutter arm. And we're going to move it slightly toward us, just a hair past the 1¼ inch mark. Lift, slide the cutter blade to the 4-inch mark, insert it into the cardstock and slide it toward yourself to just a little past the 4¼ mark. Okay, then we'll lift the cutter arm, flip the cardstock 180 degrees, and we'll put this left edge at the 6 9/16 mark. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. Slide the cutter blade to the 1-inch mark, push it into the cardstock, and pull it towards you to just a little past the 1¼ inch mark. Lift the cutter blade and slide it to the 4-inch mark, insert it into the cardstock, and slide it towards you to just a little past the 4¼ mark. That would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16 mark. 4 5/16. So we've got all our slits in our cardstock. I can get rid of my paper trimmer and we'll insert our goalposts. Like I said, the goalposts are what? Pop your image up. Okay, here is the top part of the card. The short end goes in the top part of the card into the slits that are the furthest away from the center score line, and then the longer end goes into the bottom part of the card, like so. Okay, but before we actually glue these down, okay, I used a little snail adhesive on the back side. We need to stamp this background. So, using Flirty Flamingo and the small heart from the stamp set, we're going to just randomly stamp. And I believe I did them at a diagonal, so we're just going to put them on there. Okay, so the stamping's done. I smeared a little. We'll have to probably add a few embellishments there, but someone told me once there are no mistakes in stamping. There are just happy accidents. So I had a few happy accidents there while I was stamping, and I smeared a little of the ink. Okay, so that's stamped. Now we can reinsert our goalposts. There's one. Remember, short edge up at the top. And two. Get in there, little guy. Okay, so let's lay that flat with the goalposts down. And here, we're going to add some snail adhesive on each of these and stick them to the back of the card. This will be hidden when we put the two card bases together. Struggle is my name. Okay, there we go. So there we have the two goalposts ready for our design. Okay, but before we attach the designs, I'm going to take the outer card base, which is the 8.5 by 5.5 piece, and I'm going to fold the inner card base in half and slide it into the outer card base. Okay, there we have it. Now let's add more snail adhesive to the back side of the inner base. This will hide those tabs that we just stuck to the cardstock. Okay, so there's our pop-up mechanism. Okay, I took the liberty of pre-cutting a few things on the Big Shot before I started this presentation, and this is what I did. I cut Flirty Flamingo and Real Red strip of hearts using the what's it called? Be Mine stitched framelits. Then I cut a center heart or a solid heart out of Real Red and Flirty Flamingo, and a lacy heart out of Real Red and Flirty Flamingo. And what I did was I attached, come on, let me pick you up, the Real Red, and of course the battery died, so I had to stop and change the battery. So I've got that attached down there, and it's rubs a little close to the bottom, but that's okay because that'll help hold the card open when we want it to be open. Okay, and then we'll put the red down at the bottom, and before we attach the top one, we need to make sure that when the card closes, it doesn't come out past the edge. So I just set it on there like that, and then I folded it shut, and it looks good, so I can attach it there. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this instead of the goalpost. Okay, so we'll put it down low so it does not stick out the top of the card. Okay, so there we have both hearts. And then I added a few rhinestones. Okay, so there are my rhinestones. Okay, now we need to do some stamping here. On the original, I stamped this in Real Red, but I think I like the way the black on white looks. I'm going to stamp the Love You Lots in black. And we'll do the Happy Valentine's Day from the Heartfelt stamp set in Real Red. So I have a couple pieces of scrap cardstock here. So there's the inside of the card. Never have I ever decorated the inside of a card first before, but there's a first for everything. Okay, so that's the inside of the card. Now we need to do the outside. Okay, and we're going to take our pieces of designer series paper, There are two, and I'm going to attach the hearts over the polka dots first. So I use my grid paper to make sure I line it up evenly. So I'm going to flip them over. I'm attaching snail to the back of the hearts, and I'm going to have it overlap, oh, let's say 3/4 of an inch. So it looks like that. And then I'll just add some more snail to the back and attach to the front of the card. And I'm using my grid lines again, attaching it about a 1/2 inch away from the left edge of the card. Okay, so there's that. And now we need to stamp the from my heart to yours, and punch them out. Then we're going to make a little banner with this 8-inch piece of real red ribbon. And I used glue dots, basically, to hold it together in the middle. I just folded it in half. We'll put a glue dot in there to hold it together. Like so. So I used a glue dot to hold it together after I folded it over on itself, and I put it on the back of my heart, and I held it in place on the back of the heart with a couple dimensionals. So I've got 4 dimensionals on the back of my heart. Okay, and we'll just attach that right about there. And I'm going to trim this ribbon a little because I think it's a little too long. Probably could have done with 7 inches. So we'll just cut a little off. Like so. Okay. And then on the front of this card, I used a few embellishments, the From My Heart faceted gems, and I just used a few glue dots to hold them in place. Well, there you go. There's my pop-up Valentine card. Like I said, you can do this with any kind of card. I originally started out with a happy birthday, which I think turned out really cute. Why I turned that upside down, I don't know, but I did. And here's the Valentine pop-up. There's the inside. And this, if you get that bottom row of red hearts down low enough, will hold itself open, just like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed your visit here today. Hopefully it won't be that long until I'm back. If you have any questions, let me know. Until next time, I'm Josie Cauler, and happy stamping.